All right, so I'm Jonathan Bruner, and if you're like me and you've been on LinkedIn recently, y'all have most likely seen a phenomenon pop up called vibe coding. And I was quite interested in this, learning more about it, so I thought I would kind of give a little brief introduction on what it is, how to use it, pros and cons, and then if I can get it pulled up, I even have a little bit of a demo that I built using vibe coding to kind of show what you can do with it. So, how vibe coding works. So, unlike normal programming and development structure, you are no longer telling the computer how to do something. You are now telling it what to do. So, you're going to come up with your idea of any kind of project you want to code, develop, anything you want to do. Express that in a plain English to your AI agent, and then that AI agent's going to then generate the code that can be used for that project. After you generate that code, you can then review and refine. In most cases, you're never going to get a functional product from just one prompt, no matter how detailed that prompt's going to be, because it's always going to forget things. I know in my case, it was probably 15 or so prompts, and it wasn't even a very complex project. So this is where you're going to review, refine, figure out what it did wrong, what it did right, any things you want to add, that kind of context. So why? Why do we want to vibe code? Well, speed. So as I'll show a little bit later on, the project I worked on, I completed in about 30 minutes. Full website, backend, API hooks, everything. So speed, you can build these things really quickly and with little actual resources. Accessibility, no longer is this gatekeeping for people that already know how to create these applications. Now anyone that has an idea can create an application. And then democratization, kind of the similar idea where now anyone can create a project they have in mind. With this accessibility, there also comes cons of now anyone can create apps. They feel like they can just put anything in production and things break really quickly. But these are some benefits of vibe coding. Now, what are the drawbacks and concerns? Well, code quality is one of them. So AI generated code can be inefficient. It can be overly complex. There's been discussion I've seen that for every fix you try to have AI code, especially on large production environments, it could be changing and adding upwards of 2,000 lines. When in reality, all you really need to do is maybe remove a few hundred lines or just change a few things. Well, AI is going to just add tons and tons of lines to try to do a workaround on how it did something wrong. You have security risks. A lot of AI agents aren't necessarily implementing security into their applications automatically. So you're going to have some sort of security analysis if you actually want to put something into production. Maintainability. If I saw someone build a project using vibe coding, they then released it and then talked about it on LinkedIn. People got curious, went to their website, and crashed, because it had so many people hitting it that the application was not built for that. And he had no developer knowledge. He couldn't fix it. He had no idea what was going wrong. The whole thing ended up having to come down. So maintainability, if you don't know what's going into your product, if you don't know how it's built, maintaining it's going to be that much more difficult. And in fact, I've actually seen some consultants, developer consultants say that they're actually going to start doing an AI tariff. That if you build something with AI, they're going to implement more cost to go in and fix it because it's spaghetti code and it's going to take that much longer for them to figure out what's going wrong with it. So maintainability is a big one. And then over-reliance. If you over-rely on AI to build everything for you, you are then going to erode skills you could build along with AI. So much like all other AI tools, this is just a tool. It's great for learning. It's great for putting things out there. But overall, you still have to put it on yourself to learn what is the AI doing, what is it actually putting out there. It's probably not a good idea to be putting things into production that you yourself don't know, don't understand, don't know how to read, and can't articulate yourself. So an over-reliance on these AI tools could also be a concern. So some examples that I've seen. So one of the best and most user-friendly example you can do is a simple task. Say you have your own website. You've already built it. You've done all of this stuff. Then someone asks you, hey, I want your website to do this, but you don't necessarily know how to do that. Well, I can go out to AI and ask it, hey, I need a function that does this thing, whatever that thing might be. And this is a kind of a small little window thing that, yes, you might have to get working in your website and your product, but overall, you don't have to spend the time developing this specific logic to do this task. So simple tasks, great for AI. Great, AI is really good at doing these simple tasks. Then you can also do complex projects. For example, a React app, translating restaurant menus from photos. So this is a more overarching product. It uses it's going to have multiple simple tasks in it. AI is still pretty good at building this out. Now it's going to take a lot longer, a lot more prompts, and you're going to have to check it a lot more. But AI can build this. And this is actually closer to the demo that I created. It's more of a complex project, not just a simple app. And then probably one of the best ones is rapid prototyping. So say you're a creator of a small business that you're wanting to put like a shop online, get a website built, but you don't have coding experience and you don't have the money right now because you're still looking for investors, but you want to show the investors kind of what you have in your mind, but you have no coding experience and you don't have people you know and you don't want to pay for it. Well, you can go out to AI, build a simple little prototype website that maybe works, maybe doesn't work, but at least shows investors like, this is my idea. This is what I want. And then you can later on show this to some software developers and be like, hey, can you actually build this into a functional website for deployment? So rapid prototyping is another big one that you can use AI for in this context. So tools that you can use for vibe coding. So the three main ones I've seen are Cursor, GitHub Copilot, and Replit Agent. These are three different kind of ways of using this vibe coding. So for example, Cursor, and actually there's another one that a friend of mine told me about, Windsurf. So Cursor and Windsurf are pretty good at doing this. These are their own IDEs. So you will download Cursor's IDE or Windsurf's IDE, and this will be done locally on your computer. So for example, I actually tried playing around with Windsurf with my application, and I had to go out and it wanted to build my application with React. So I actually had to go out to React and download React onto my computer before the AI agent could actually build it. So you have to make sure all the dependencies are downloaded on your local machine if you run these IDEs on your local machine. Then you have GitHub Copilot. GitHub Copilot actually functions inside of other IDEs. So for example, I've seen this in VS Code. VS Code has GitHub Copilot inside of it, and you can use it there. Again, you run into the same issues with Cursor that you do have to download your dependencies locally. But I do believe GitHub Copilot also has a cloud version as well. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I do remember hearing someone tell me that GitHub Copilot is either working towards a cloud or they have a cloud version available. And then Replit Agent. This is actually what I use to code my project. This is all done on the cloud. I didn't have to download any dependencies onto my local machine. I actually didn't even launch the website because I'd actually pay for that if I did, and I did everything free. So you can pay to actually push this out onto an actual website. But these are kind of three different ways of using AI to do this, depending on what your project needs. Some perspectives on vibe coding. So you have a lot of the enthusiasts, similar to me, that we can build an entire project with just 280 prompts. Yeah, spend the time, put in a whole bunch of prompts and you might actually be able to get a functional project. And yes, money. Those are 280 prompts that cost money. I think my project was 15 prompts or so, and then I ran out of my free prompts. It was like, hey, you're done. You can't do anything else. If it's broken, it's broken. I can't fix it. So, yes. Then you got critics. They say vibe now, stress later when maintenance is needed. Big one. Because like I was mentioning earlier, maintenance is a big downside to some of this AI coding, where if the AI can't figure it out and you have no idea what the AI did, how are you going to end up going and fixing it? And then industry perspectives. So some startups have delayed hiring, and IBM developers are exploring how to apply this in their context. So this could affect more of your junior developer, but as I'll probably talk a little bit later, I don't necessarily foresee that being an overall net negative. I think that will actually end up being a net positive. Then, best practices for vibe coding. First, choose wisely. Ideal prototyping and learning projects. This is where it does the best work. So choose what kind of project you want to do with it wisely, because it can do some things better than it can do other things. Review thoroughly. Whenever you're doing anything AI generated, whether it's code or whether it's anything else, always make sure to inspect it before you actually put it into production. There's a lot of issues that you might not foresee that could arise using AI coding. And then balance skills combined with traditional coding for professional quality. Have it do the hard work, and then you just maintain it and add in the specifics. And then stay updated. Follow the latest tools and community developments. It's an ever-growing field of using AI in a production kind of environment. So there's always new tools coming up and always new ideas being developed. So always stay up to date with what's out there. So in conclusion, you got accelerated innovation. You just got to manage the risks, and that in the future, this is going to be more of a hybrid kind of development structure where it's not necessarily just going to be AI. It's not just going to be people, but it's actually going to be people working with AI to move forward and get the stuff out there. So let's see if I can pull this up. I have no idea. When I tried doing it, it did not pull up earlier. So let's just see. Is that coming up? Well, it looks like it's not coming up. But if you're curious, I can show you the demo on my computer afterwards. So, but that's the talk on vibe coding.